Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today I will be going over the Ghost in the Shell event in which more Thanes, Will, and Wrath have been added to the game. This also makes for the game having over 200 troops. I remember back when this game had under 100, so it's definitely come a long way since then, especially since they do more troops every single week plus the kingdoms. Similar to last week, I will be going over pretty much all troops in this kingdom, because nearly all of them got rebalanced. So let's go over the event troops first. First, we have the standard 400, and what I do want to go over first is actually the Wrath pack. This is the first time a common has ever been added to an event. It is the Wrath. It steals life from an enemy, or it steals their mana. And stealing mana would be, it takes all of their mana and then it goes to you up to your max. So that can actually be pretty useful. He's actually a decent common, and he's also the first troop to have a double effect when on skulls. It does places Death Mark and Freeze on an enemy once you have it fully traded. So that is fairly unique. Because it's only a common, you do get 3 of him whenever you buy the 300 pack. You do still have the reduced amount of 1 arcane trait stone and 1 less minor trait stone, so you might want to consider the epic instead, especially if you're low in glory. And here we have Morthani's Will. He steals armor from an enemy, as in it reduces it from them and gives it to you. If the enemy doesn't have any armor, it just does nothing. And then it deals 4 true damage. The armor steal is based on magic. There's 4 true damage is constant. And then it drains their mana and gives you half of it. So kind of like steal mana, except it only does half. Well, it reduces all of theirs, but you only gain half of it. So he's actually pretty decent. You'll notice he'll have a really high armor amount and a low HP. So he gets pretty tanky to have up front, but true damage, of course, takes him out fairly easy. And he has Inscribed and Reinforced combo, which works pretty good to make him have a really high armor. And he also has Armored as well, which will help good against skulls if you place him up front, probably like the first or second troop in your lineup. But true damage will tear him apart, so he's not overly powerful. And of course we have the blue purples, which will come in handy. So let's actually get to all of the teams then. And like I mentioned, I am going to be going over all of them because quite a few of them got rebalanced, and I'll be explaining any of the rebalanced troops. But here I have a blue deck for the Wrath, with Wrath up front. If you're going to be using Wrath, you'll definitely want to have him in the first slot so you can have all of his skull effects. And then we just have a Sea Troll who will double the blues, Winter Imp who gets does true damage with his ability, plus you get the blue bonus, and it gains magic whenever it matches blue. So with the Valkyrie and Sea Troll, you'll just keep getting blues on the Wrath and Winter Imp and just keep casting them over and over again. And since they both do true damage, that works fairly well. Next up we have Ghoul. Ghoul got quite a big change. Its mana cost has been raised from 4 to 8. And its ability has been completely reworked. It now deals 18 damage to the first enemy and reduces all of their skills by 1, and then destroys 6 gems. Before, it was just gain 3 attack and then destroy a bunch of gems. I think it was like somewhere around 15 I had it up to. Yeah, that plus its magic. So it was pretty high before in destroying gems. Now it's kind of been reworked to be more towards the damage oriented. Plus it has that reduction. And its traits also have been reworked. They've been reorganized a bit, and it lost its Cursed in exchange for Life Drain, which makes it gain 4 life whenever an enemy dies. What they've actually been doing quite a bit recently is starting to rework the traits on any of the troops that can be summoned, so that they only have traits that work like while they're on the field. Because any summoned troops, any of the traits that activate at the beginning of the match don't work on summoned troops, so they're starting to replace those out on any of them that have them, which makes me think that where to go, Wrath might actually be added, since it kind of has that double thing. It does have that thing that starts at the beginning, but who knows. Anyways, onto this team. I have the mostly have this here for the Naga Queen and Summoner combo, which will Naga Queen will create a bunch of reds. If that gold's eye, it's going to be covering that brown with the brown convert to reds. And Summoner will, of course, just keep replacing the ghoul until you win. And next up, we have the Zombie. Zombie also got heavily reworked. Its mana cost was raised from 7 to 8. and his skill has been reworked slightly. Instead of a full heal, it now gains HP based on magic and is boosted 2 to 1 on the skulls removed. And instead of just doing a certain amount of skulls removed, it removes all skulls. And removed skulls won't do damage, but they'll just be removed from the board. Nothing with his traits has been reworked, so that's basically it on him. And I just made a team that would have Dryad healing him, Tyree for the farm, and Shugra just to keep skulling. Because Zombie can get pretty tanky with that kind of life gain. That 2 to 1 is quite a bit of extra HP, and that's a pretty low heal, so that with Dryad can keep him alive for a long time. Next up we have Vampire. Vampire got a pretty big change because he doesn't have any of the colors that he had previously. He was originally red-yellow, he's now brown-purple. His mana cost was also reduced by 2 from 13 down to the 11 that it is now. And his cast ratio has been increased, well, buffed to 2 to 1 instead of 3 to 1. And it deals true damage to an enemy, removes all the reds, and then gains 4 life. One thing that they probably need to fix soon is, if they might have oversighted a little bit on this, is he still has Fire Spirit from back when he was yellow-red. This should probably be whatever the magic one is called. I forget what it's called. Magic Spirit or something like that? I don't know. Whatever the purple one is, I think he should have it with the purple spirit. So he gains magic for all purples on the team. Anyways, I just did a full true damage with this. That might be useful. You get the Wolf Knight, who does more damage to wounded. We have White, who gains HP, does true damage, creates purples for the Vampire Lord. Vampire Lord, who removes the reds. And of course, Phoenix Bow, which is the cheap, rare green weapon that you get fairly early just to do that extra bit of true damage. Next up, we have Banchi, and I've already showed this team once before, but I figured I'd show it again because it's really good in early game. It's a Banchi cycle deck where you just go Trent up front to tank, Alchemist, who will create yellows, that will then fill Banchi and Valkyrie, and then you have Banchi, who will fill Alchemist and Valkyrie. So you just keep cycling them and gain a bunch of resources because Valkyrie does souls and Alchemist does gold, and with all the converts you'll get the max limit of gold and possibly the max limit of souls as well. So that works pretty well with her. She hasn't been changed, but she was already changed about a week or 2 ago, which I didn't mention. I think it was from a 14 or 13 mana cost down to only 12. So she was already reworked previous to this patch, Ghulvania patch. Next up we have the Flesh Golem. He got one of the more interesting reworks. Instead of jumbling up the board, he now explodes a row. So all those gems are going to be destroyed. And it does 70% on all of them destroyed. So this is a 3x3 complete destruction across. And then it gains a bunch of life and reduces all enemies' magic by 1 every single time it casts. So it can really start to reduce the enemy's magic by a good amount. This would be particularly good early game because most enemies you have won't have too much magic. Plus, this ability can almost refill itself every single cast with how much it explodes. He also doesn't entangle the first enemy anymore, which is somewhat unfortunate because that was kind of something that made him really tanky. But he got it for the magic reduction, so that kind of works better. Instead of being a skull reduction, he's more of a caster reduction now. Or a caster counter, I mean. And he also still has that big and regeneration combo with his high HP. You can get him fairly tanky. And that's why I had the Dryad here, just to keep buffing him up, make sure he's healed. Gorgotha to tank the skull damage now that he doesn't have Entangle anymore. And War and Peace just for the damage output that Dryad will feed. Next up we have the Grave Knight. Nothing too big on the Grave Knight. His damage has been increased by 2 at all levels. So at lower levels he'll be a bit better. And this was actually a fairly popular build when Grave Knight was added back about a year ago, actually. It's just here up front with Crude Club. You can use the Warlord class with it. Then Grave Knight, Paladin, and Raven. They're all single-shot troops that work fairly well together. You can just use Grave Knight and then follow it up with either Paladin or Raven, and it pretty much kills anything in the entire game in double shot. Plus you have the Crude Club there that will just keep poking, and it's really good at focusing down one at a time any of the enemies on the opposing team. Next up, we have Avena. She also just got a static 2 extra damage at all levels to her ability, so she'll be a little bit better in late game. She's also a really good undead counter now. Well, she always has been, but like this ability right now that I have on her would do 63 damage to an undead troop. So that is quite a bit of damage. And it's only for 11 mana cost too. So that's almost 6 times her mana cost and damage output. So that's a really good ratio. For some reason, they didn't rebuff or rework her soul gain, which is still only 1 soul, which is kind of pathetic in the current meta of the game because everything costs so many souls. But that's still her. She's a really good undead counter. And I have her with another undead counter because he has Undead Slayer, plus the Stone Skin just up front. And then the Jackalope and the Giant Spider. The Giant Spider creates purples, and then the Jackalope creates blue. So those just keep cycling between each other while the Giant Spider feeds Avena her ability. Next up is, yes, that. Morthanes. I did it with an well, I already explained him earlier. A really good armor tank. I put it in a all mana drain team with Spider Queen up front. We'll also have the Venomous, so you can use some of that true damage from Moloch and Morthanes will. And she also reduces armor just like Morthanes. Though it might actually use up all of Morthanes' armor, but it still should work pretty well. And you just keep draining with her. You have Morthani to drain. You have Ferret who will drain the last enemy. And then you have Moloch who will drain anyone and then do extra damage to them based on it. And next up we have Bat. For some reason they did decide to buff him. There was actually a long discussion on the forum because they were going to nerf its damage by half and make its HP just scale based on how much damage it does. But a lot of people from the community end up complaining about it because it's pretty much everyone used it for the true damage, not for the life. So the devs were nice enough to listen to us, and all they did was double the amount of life gain it has instead of completely reworking it. So now it just ended up turning into a buff. He didn't really need a buff, but he will be really good if you can get him now because 16 HP, that's at any level. That's not based on his magic. You can have this thing at level 1 and it's gaining 16 HP, so that's quite a bit. And I have it with a pretty common, you pretty much always see him if you're going to do a farm deck, is 2 Crimson Bats with a Soothsayer and Valkyrie. You can basically put these troops in any single order you want and it'll still work. It doesn't matter too much. I'm just putting in this because now a Crimson Bat will actually be slightly tankier, so you kind of have them up front like that, and then just put the other one in back just in case that one does die too quick. And last, I just made a small Ghulvania team. If Vampire Lord ever got like a Magic Link or something, this might be a bit better. But it just has all of the bonuses from, you have 4 purples, you have the 4 Ghulvania, plus you have 4 undead. So it gains a bunch of bonuses, like he's doing 17 armor steel, you have 16 life gain, a lot of true damage, and Banchi can just keep looping off of that. So I think I'm going to do the code now, like I do all weeks. Here's the code. You just go into shop, redeem codes, and it is SRIYYEZ1QE. Click confirm. We'll type it in there. Click confirm, and you get your 2 maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, 2,500 gold, and that is it. So let me get into a match real quick. I'll probably just use the Bat team and show the Marrowlith guy. And there's the map. Let me go to someone else. Let's see, which one should I do in this one? Yeah, let's try the Morthanes build first. See how it works out. This mana drain team should work fairly well at making sure they never cast, but it will probably be slow in the fact that I don't have much damage output on this team. Luckily, they don't have any skull reduction, so her Spider Queen is actually pretty bad with the leader trait, but it'll actually work out pretty good if the enemy doesn't have any skull reduction at all, which they don't. You got this, that fire link on there. Make sure it gets more mana. I just realized now that I probably shouldn't have set that mana, or I set the banner to red-yellow, but I forgot that Moloch already has the red, so that was kind of a waste on the banner. It'll still serve its purpose. Oh, and he has the oh wow, I already Behemoth completely traded, so he's getting 4 HP every single match now, so he can get pretty tanky as well. Let's see. I don't have any mana. I have a full mana drain team, and they have a spell, and I can't even mana drain it. That's unfortunate. Hopefully it misses though. And it does. Oh, never mind, it didn't. Got quite a bit, and he keeps getting a Menser. And I don't really have an HP counter on this team.
Mana surge.
And he keeps getting extra turns. We should stop now. Let's see. Any skull pairs? No, he'll convert. Or maybe he'll make browns, that work too. Wow, he keeps getting extra turns. He's being really lucky right now. That'd be funny if I actually lose with this team. I shouldn't be able to though. Let's see. Also, I'm lagging a bit right now. That's weird. Let's do that one. And yeah, I just wanted to have the thing double check for me. It's sometimes good to use the automatic checker just to make sure there's extra turns.
Mana surge. Mana surge.
And that's not too big a threat. I don't know why he has that orb. Let's take these purples, which will go into the blues, so we'll get that. I think I'll take these skulls. We'll get that red, but it shouldn't be too big a deal. Let's do that. Got Moloch up too. And he casts that. It completely misses. That's good for us. Nothing on my thing can get an extra turn, so might as well take that and use the Moloch to take out that. Poison will finish that off and very soon, so we don't need to worry about that too much more. Or we'll just skull it. That works too. Let's see. Oh, we're not even gonna be able to get his ability up. Or Thanes. I'll be able to use the mana drain to make sure it doesn't do anything. Yeah, 70 HP right now. And half this team is true damage. Okay, we finally got his ability up.
Mana surge.
But first, before we do that, let's use the backstab, take out this mana. And then let's steal his armor.
Mana surge.
Unfortunately, from just doing that, I took all of his HP. So let's actually use it on the first one. We won't get as much armor, but we will get some of his mana. Let's see here. I want to try getting Moloch back up. Or skull damage, that'll work too.
Surge.
Take that. Oh, he has Impervious too, so he's not going to be taking my poison.
Surge.
Not too big a deal though. Take out another skull.
Mana surge.
Morthani's almost up, which we'll use on the hero. I'll take this brown, take that green. Got that red as well, so we got this up.
Mana
For some reason, he didn't cast at all. So let's use Moloch to take out his mana.
Mana surge.
Anything? I'll take the reds, get Moloch back up. Take the skulls. I'll let him take the skull to get Morthani back up. He'll have orb, but I will just take his mana.
Surge.
So he has 18 mana, so he should gain 9 if for doing this drain attack. Let's just take that real quick. Look at the board, nothing on it. And let's take his mana. Yeah, so we go all the way up to 9 for taking that. Plus we have so much armor now. That works pretty well.
Mana surge.
We have his ability back up.
Mana surge.
Yeah, so his ability gets back up real quick. And let's just, I guess we'll do one more Morthani. Let's keep stacking his armor. Unfortunately, you can't steal beyond how much armor they have. But just make him cut off a little bit weak, but it still works. The main thing that he has is that mana drain. Plus getting half of that mana back. That's like the main feature that he has. Because the armor gain doesn't end up usually doing too much. And now let's go to the bat team now that they've been buffed completely. Let's see. Is this team fine? Yeah, it should be fine. Let's go to bat and see how this goes. Okay, right off the bat we can take skulls. Hopefully one of them get cursed with HP, and it seems like none of them do. That's unfortunate, but not too big a deal. If they did, that would have done 44 damage instead of 22. Since Bat does twice as much damage to any of them that are wounded. Like right now, I'll be able to kill him with skull damage. Like right now, here. Already dead. That's why I like having at least one Bat up front. I used to put 2, but they sometimes die too quick, so now I'm just doing 1. I normally don't even use the Bat teams anymore, though, even though it's just been buffed. I mostly replace it with Mabs, because the Mabs are so overpowered right now. They'll probably be nerfed soon, but feels like everyone's using them in some way. Or her, I should say. Okay, so we already got 1 up. We can convert the Browns. Yeah, I'll go ahead and convert the Browns. Take this. Take that. Take that. And how much more I can do with that? So, is there anywhere where I can fill up Valkyrie? Yeah, right here. That'll give her all the mana to recast. Oh, there's 1 short there, but we got a gem right there. They'll take that and that skull. Let's use both our bats. Their Valkyrie will probably end up taking it on that green, but that's not too big a deal. All they have is green slime. Oh, it didn't even take a move. That's weird.
Mana surge.
So what can we convert? Anything? Yes, we can take the yellows. Take all those from them. No extra turns, but we'll let them take the skulls so they waste their turn doing that. And we'll be able to cast both bats and finish the match. But yeah, you might want to try spending some gems on event keys this week to see if you can try getting a bat from the drops. Because the only legend you can get from Ghulvania is the bat. So let's just use this gem key real quick and see if we can actually get a bat. I already have it to mythic, but we might as well spend some. I already have all that pile. Let's see, can we get a bat? We did not get a bat. That is unfortunate. But we did get 4 Marthani's Wills, but we already have them at Mythic too. All of these, of course, I'd already have at Mythic, but we got a nice little... it gives all Ghulvania pretty much, besides from the Ultra Rares, so... Oh, for some reason the Epics are also giving some other ones. That's weird. It normally doesn't do that, but we unfortunately did not get the bat. We did get plenty of Flesh Golems, Grave Knights, and other event troops. And 4 Marthani Will, 2 Lady Sapara. That I'm not even going to try pronouncing that. Catharsis 666. I don't even know. And Traxxas. But that will do it for this episode. I hope this was helpful, and thanks for watching.